Alright, guys, we got a fun one today. What if OG Ben, Kid Ben, fought Invincible? So, at the age of 10, 11, Ben probably has just as much experience as Invincible does as a superhero. An advantage that Invincible does have is his killer instinct. So, if he really found Ben as a threat, especially by towards the end of the comics, not quite when he's like 500 years in the future, but after basically everything goes down in the comics, he will kill. Ben isn't like that. So when it comes down to strength, where does this go? Well, besides lifting all of his friends' dead bodies off the ground after they die, Mark does have some pretty good strength feats. The best one probably beating Thrag, who's the most powerful Viltrumite, or him, Nolan, and Thaddeus flying right through Viltrum, destroying the planet. That one's also pretty crazy. And OG Ben does not have any sort of feat like this. Ben has aliens like Forearms and Diamond Head and maybe even Cannonbolt that I think might be able to kind of keep up with his strength, but not quite. I think Invincible would probably wipe the floor with 10-year-old Forearms. Diamond Head, on the other hand, I think might give him a hard time just because of his versatility, and his durability is probably higher than Invincible's. Where it really gets interesting is Way Big. At this age, we only saw Way Big in the movie, and he threw Vilgax into space, which was pretty crazy. Now, how would he stack up against Invincible? Well, to be honest with you, we haven't seen enough strength feats from Way Big, especially in OG. What I can say is his cosmic ray that he does where he crosses his arms is probably strong enough to blow up a planet. I'm going to have to say it's probably pretty close strength-wise between Way Big and Invincible. Way Big might just edge it out. Pause. And I already talked about durability. I think it's a good chance Diamond Head is probably more durable than Invincible is. But Invincible is pretty durable. Even if he used Heat Blast and went Supernova, Invincible survived being in the sun, which is pretty wild. But he kind of had to be in the sun so he could kill Thrag. He could just outfly Heat Blast blasts. Ben also has Blitzwolfer though, and Blitzwolfer could use his Sonic Howl to really mess with Invincible's hearing. I'm not sure if it's only certain frequencies that can mess with Invincible's ears, but I think either way, that could really be a big factor in their fight. And when it comes to speed, I think Ben is going to outdo Invincible with Accelerate any day of the week. Accelerate has been able to basically stop time in that one episode with those android baseball players, and he goes and catches the ball and puts it in different places, and time just stands still. Plus, Invincible is usually not fast enough to stop the horrible things that happen in his universe. Also, I think the thing is, the Omnitrix in OG Invincible still has the ability to scan Invincible. That's how he got Blitzwolfer, Ben Mummy, Frankenstrike, Ghost Freak, pretty kind of. So he could still scan Invincible. But he wouldn't be as strong as Mark would be anyway, at least most likely. If we're talking about the Mark that beat Thrag, he wouldn't be. But that could still be a play that would be kind of cool. In OG Ben at one point, Ben also has Master Control. So if we're talking him with Master Control, I think OG Ben takes that. And I don't think it's super difficult for him if he does have Master Control. I mean, you saw Ben versus Kevin and Vilgax with the Master Control in the original series. It was gangster. But if he doesn't and he has the regular timeout feature, well, he's out of luck, I think, versus Invincible. But ultimately, it would probably come to a standstill because the Omnitrix is not going to let Ben die. So I believe the verdict is, if Ben has Master Control, then he wipes Invincible. If he doesn't and he has the regular timeout feature, well, I think it ends up being a tie because the Omnitrix is not going to let him die, but I think Invincible might beat him. I'm not sure. It's tough to say. Just don't think Ben will be able to get that win out before the timer goes out on the OG Omnitrix. Even if he uses Way Big, because honestly, Invincible could fly away for a while. I mean, he doesn't know that Ben has the timeout feature, but still. Because if he turns into Way Big, I think he can take him on with the strength, but Invincible's going to be much faster than Way Big, flying around him, getting shots in here and there. But if he goes Diamond Head, well, I don't think Diamond Head's strength compares to Invincible, at least as much. I think he can hurt Invincible, but I don't think he's going to be as strong. But he's going to be more durable But as the fight goes on, the timer's going to run out. There is also Ghost Freak, though. Ghost Freak should be able to possess him, and that might be able to neutralize Invincible. Either way, it's a really fun fight. I think it could go either way. Maybe if Ben has the timeout feature, but not if he has the master control. That's the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.
Just come back for fun, because it's great being alive with you.
Good reason.